Good morning. Welcome to the Trial Guides Tip of the Day. My name is Michael Leeserman. Today is Monday, August 28th, 2023. Today's tip comes from Show the Brief by WilliamSBailey. Trial Guides also has a Show the Story book that Bill and Robert Bailey, the Bailey brothers, wrote, and they're both here today. Bill, could you read the tip for the day? And thank you both for being here.
It's a pleasure. I'd be happy to, Michael. Personal injury cases are story-driven. Like a play or film, each case occurs in a physical setting with a cast of characters. In order for a judge or a jury to absorb your arguments, you must put them in the scene of your case and introduce them to the people involved.
Wow. This is great advice. It sounds so simple, right? To orient the case in a scene. And I don't see attorneys do this very often. I know that maybe at trial lawyers college, setting the scene, I learned that there, but lawyers don't do that a lot. So why is that so important?
Well, Michael, this goes way back. I used my brother's same Shakespeare textbook in college, and he's kind of annoying because he highlights so much stuff and writes in the margins. But I still have it on my shelf. But if you look at Shakespeare's plays, they start with dramatis personae. Who are the characters in this play? And what's their gig? Who are they? Hamlet, the prince in waiting. So everyone is identified. So we're talking about something that's been known by writers for centuries. Who are these people? And when you get the complicated kind of cases that Robert frequently is called upon to handle as a consultant, or you, Michael, in your own trucking accident work, they involve a lot of different people. And until you can anchor that to something visual to create that context, the information simply will land. And so this is something I come up against with my students over and over again. They describe things in words. They go on and on and on. Lots of details, lots of words. No pictures are created in the brain. There is no mental file to put any of this stuff. And so shifting to be from a trial lawyer to be a law professor specializing in trial technique classes, I'm suddenly reading hundreds of briefs, and I'm getting to be very sympathetic about what judges go through because I work with really smart students, very committed, very motivated, and blessed by that. But even these smart, committed people do not write for their audience. It's just
maybe especially the smart students, right?
Yeah.
Especially the smart.
And my brother gets boxes of documents from cases to try and boil this down. Where did this happen? Who's involved? It just is like, holy cow. So focusing on briefs, and so much of the action now has shifted to briefs. Judges don't like trials. They're doing everything they can to make trials harder to get to, cases more likely to be shunted off, which is a big, big change from when I started. So basic creative writing, nonfiction writing, filmmaking, put your audience in that scene. Because if you don't, if you're just using words for dry technical stuff like we often have in the law, they're going to skim. They're going to skip. And when I'm reading students' briefs that do that, I just skim over it because I don't know what's going on here. And this is a common complaint by judges.
Yeah. You have the curse of knowledge. You know what's going on and you assume that the reader does. Robert, when you're working on a case, the cast of characters, I'm curious, is that something you would literally have a slide or a board showing the cast of characters or introduce them one at a time? How do you like to do that?
I actually, as Bill's talking about, Michael, I want to hook the jury if it's if it's an opening statement, or I want to hook the judge if it's a brief immediately. And in filmmaking, which I was a director and a scriptwriter in Los Angeles prior to being a trial consultant, you have what's called the hook story. And we all know that if we go to a movie or look at one at home now, since COVID's happened, that movie is a visual story that has to capture our interest in the first few minutes, or we're gone. We're either out of the theater or we're going to find another movie we like better. A lot of times what I see happen is lawyers lose the opportunity at the beginning of a trial, or even with involvement with judge, to hook the judge or to hook the jury, because you present the characters and they see their photograph, they see the corporate building perhaps where they work, you see the evidence or whatever is a part of the story there, and you present it in a specific sequence that's going to frame your case within the first few pages or first page of the brief or the first couple minutes of an opening. And how you hook them is oftentimes through curiosity, because you're not going to tell the entire mini story, I call it, or hook story. You're going to only tell part of it, and you're going to shift the focus of the story right after that deliberately and intentionally to make your judge or your jury appropriately wait to find out what happens later in the brief or later in the opening. This curiosity is such a basic element for all of us as human beings that if you know how to elicit this in your audience, whether judge or jury, you capture their attention. And then how you sequence the story from there has everything to do with the coherence of the advocacy you are presenting through the visuals and through the story itself. And those two need to work together. And when they do, it amplifies the power of your presentation, whether it's a brief or a live opening statement in a PowerPoint.
I love it. Certainly Hollywood knows how to do that, and we can learn to do that as lawyers, or have someone like you help us have the hook, create the anticipation. Even when we know the ending, think of the story Titanic, or it's a wrongful death case, someone's killed. There's still ways that we can captivate and get that curiosity and have people wondering and listening for maybe a specific detail or whatnot. So thank you, Robert. Thank you, Bill, for being here today. Very much appreciate your time.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Let's take a deep breath together and be aware of being alive, being grateful to be alive today. May we work today to reduce suffering in the world. May our efforts as lawyers and as people help to repair the world. May we fiercely and compassionately advocate for our clients and champion their stories this Monday. All right, I'm going to ring a bell 3 times now. This can take you into a meditation practice, a prayer practice, or just remind you it's Monday. Go out, do good things, and have fun while you're doing it.